What does I don't know. This might be coded, but I'm not sure. What does a Gnostic sex cult have to do with the far left's goal? This guy named Bot is going off about this Gnostic sex cult. What that?
And so we're just not going to answer that question.
Okay, so that's I figured that. So we're just okay. That's why I figured that. Yeah.
Obsessed with lying to his audience. Well, crazy things can he get them to believe? He does it irresponsibly to pocket all that money from the mills for liberty. The left hates capitalism, but James won't admit it. He refuses to believe queer theory destabilizes normativity, gender binary, and the nuclear family. James blocks the truth, smears people who try to show him, creates an echo chamber for himself to reinforce his fantasy. He used to believe in something, what happened? Mills for liberty. Gnostic sex cult, building his own world. A Gnostic sex cult, unhinged from reality, totally lost in what can we do? But mocking relentlessly. It's not a Gnostic sex cult, James. No, it's not. Stop lying to your audience. No, it's not. It's not a Gnostic tells us queer liberation means the annihilation of capitalism. Catch-up change, whiteness means capitalism. Queer theory hates capitalism. Whiteness means capitalism. Queer theory hates capitalism. Whiteness means capitalism. It's all about capitalism. Everyone knows it's capitalism. The socialist knows it's capitalism. Wake up, James. It's capitalism. Whoa. The socialists know it's capitalism. Wake up, James. It's capitalism. It's all about capitalism. Everyone knows it's capitalism. The socialists know it's capitalism. Wake up, James. It's capitalism. It's capitalism. To pocket all that money from the mills for liberty. Capitalism, but James won't admit it. He refuses to believe queer theory stabilizes normativity, the gender binary, and the nuclear family. But James blocks the truth, smears people who try to show him, creates an echo chamber for himself to reinforce his fantasy. Is to believe in something. What happens for liberty? Gnostic sex cult building some world. Gnostic sex cult unhinged from reality. He's totally lost it. What can we do but mock him relentlessly?
I steal from people all the time. I'm as bad as Claude.
What? Excuse me, what? I steal from people all the time. I'm as bad as Claudine Gay, is what he's about to say. Oops, James. Oops. Sometimes doing an extemporaneous speech where you don't script it beforehand leads you to saying the quiet part out loud. What was that? What was that? What, James?
Podcast is getting downloaded 10 million times because I thought it was profound. So you don't know where your message is going to get and where it's not going to get. I steal from people all the time. 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 I'm as bad as Claudine Gay.
We are here because socialists speak in a coded language. And the best way to learn that language and become inoculated to that language is by listening to what they say in the real world. You have to keep in mind that they are using the same vocabulary as us. They are not using the same dictionary. They have different definitions for the words. And if you don't understand what those definitions are, you fundamentally do not understand them. But as long as you're going to be here, you're going to follow my rules, okay? Number one, the reason that we do Socialism Saturday is that socialists speak in a coded language. They may use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary as us, okay? Socialists speak in code. They may use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary as us. First thing you need to know, socialists speak in code. The reason that we watch this content is because we want to understand what their language means. Socialists use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary as us. So it is very important that we listen to the context of what they're saying to be able to ascertain what they mean. The reason that we do Socialism Saturday is because socialists speak in a coded language, okay? They may use the same vocabulary as us. They do not use the same dictionary.
Communists, this is a rule everybody needs to have in their head. I want you to really pay attention to this. Keep it in the back of your head. It's going to be very familiar, but it's a little like,
oh God, everyone needs to brace themselves for what he's about to say.
Cooked, so you got to think through the words a little bit. Communists share your vocabulary, but they do not share your dictionary.
Have we heard that before? Have we heard that before? Have you guys heard that before? Have you guys heard that on literally every episode of Socialism Saturday for like a year? Has everyone heard that before? Has everyone heard that before? Communists share your vocabulary, but they don't share your dictionary. Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before? You want to tell me James isn't watching my stuff? Because it seems to me that everyone in my audience has heard that before. And James, I haven't listened to your content in years. So where'd you get that, James? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that line, James? Because I've been saying that literally as an introduction for Socialism Saturday for a really long ass time. Where did you get that line, James? You gave this speech 2 weeks ago. Where'd you hear that, James? Who do you know, James? Who do you know that is like the person that's been decoding socialist language so that you actually understand it for fucking years now? Where'd you get that line, James? Where'd you get that line? Communists share your vocabulary, but they don't share your dictionary. James Lindsay, I like to steal things. I steal as much as Claudine Gay. Everyone in my audience knows where that line comes from, James. Verbatim. Not unadded. This is exactly the same thing as he did with the colleges of education stuff. He stole that verbatim too. He's saying verbatim what I've been saying since 2022. Everyone in my audience knows where you got that line, James. Every single person knows where you got that line. Every single person here knows where you got it. A wise man once said, I steal all the time. Oh, James Lindsay said that less than 5 minutes ago in this very speech. And isn't it a coincidence that James is telling his audience not to listen to me? James is telling his audience not to watch me. James is only discrediting me. James will never debate me because he knows I would kick his ass up and down the fucking debate floor if he ever fucking tried. Isn't it a coincidence that for weeks now, James has been encouraging people to ignore everything I say and everything I do? And no, don't look at that video evidence. Don't do that. Because that bitch is crazy. Where have we heard that line before? I say that verbatim every single fucking week and have for years. Even your fans that watch me, James, know where that line comes from. It's clear to all of us, bro. Let's just listen again.
You're lying to millions. You're why we lose. Pied Piper, James, great deceiver. You're living in delusion, and you're why we lose. James Lindsay spinning tails, got a fantasy in play, pocketing that cash while he's leading minds astray. Milfs for liberty, he's cashing in the bucks, but his logic's out of whack, man, it's all just muck. Left hates capitalism, he's blind to the facts. Queer theories misunderstood, it's a different attack. Destabilizing norms, breaking down the walls, but James blocks the truth, man, he's lost in the halls. Piper, James, great deceiver. Your lies are weak, we're calling out the truth. Pied Piper, James, great deceiver. You steal from us, yet you're still deluded. Echo chamber stick, it's a bubble of deceit. While he's pocketing the green, we're exposing the cheat. Narrartive, drops the mask with a bang. Where liberation means capitalism, invest in gold. Stop blocking the truth, James, open up your eyes. Our theories misunderstood, capitalism's a pride. Destroying the old norms, shaking up the scene. Face up to reality, stop the serial line. James, great deceiver. Your lies are weak, we're calling out the truth. Pied Piper, James, great deceiver. You steal from us, yet you're still deluded. Echo chamber stick, a bullet in hell. Whiteness, capitalism, it's all intertwined. Queer theories, the lens, but you're way behind. Liberation means capitalism's gone. The lies will cost us the war, that's the price. No property, no house, no business, no money, no parents, no rights, no lives for us all. Socialist reality built on your lies. Piper, James, great deceiver. Parents follow your advice, kids pay the price. Piper, James, great deceiver. You hold up the curtain, cover the mess you've begun. Pied Piper, James, great deceiver. You're lying to millions, you're why we lose. Pied Piper, James, great deceiver. You're living in delusion and you're why we lose.
Shh, shh. Don't speak. This will all be over soon. Shh, shh, shh. You're going to let Kamala win. You're going to give this country to a communist just because you're so selfish. If you're saying if Trump doesn't do what you want him to do, you're going to hold the campaign hostage. Shh, 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 shh. It'll all be over soon. Shh, 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 shh. There's nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing you can do to fight this. Stop resisting. There's nothing you can do to fight this. Acceptance. Just let it wash over. This is happening. Whether you like it or not, Groyper War 2 is happening. And you just have to let it wash over you. Just accept it. Stop fighting. You're going to need your energy. You're going to conserve your energy. You're going to need it. Stop struggling. This is all going to be over soon. This is necessary.
Well, hey guys, I know that's a little bit of an extended introduction there, but you know, this is an impromptu stream, and so I wanted to give people a little more time to join. I'm also trying to fire up a Twitter space right now. I think the Twitter space is fired up, just if people want to listen on that, and I do want to get people to participate a little bit later, but for some reason, I'm having some difficulties with Twitter, so this may or may not work out, but Let me see. Okay, I think the Twitter space is fired up too. So if people want to join on that, obviously you won't be able to see my screen on that, but I do want to try to talk to some people about this a little bit later. But guys, I gotta tell you. It's a Sunday, man. I don't stream on Sunday. I'm not even wearing makeup. Not even wearing makeup. Sun is shining in through my window. Wasn't even gonna stream today. Slept in. Spent some time with the husband, as married couples do every once in a while. And Mac B over on Twitter, can you just give me a thumbs up if my sound sounds okay in the Twitter space? I would appreciate it, my friend. And I was looking forward to a lazy day. There's some things I wanted to get done. I wasn't really thinking too much about it. Then what happens? But I log on to Twitter, and I get people tagging me and DMing me and sending me all sorts of stuff. Why? Because James Lindsay is still crying about me. James is literally still crying about me. I just don't even know what to say about this anymore. I really, really don't. Hey, Mac B over on the Twitter Spaces, Coco, can one of you guys give me a thumbs up if the sound is coming through okay? I don't see any thumbs up, so I just want to know if the sound is working okay on the Twitter space. I'm trying to give people a place to go because I do want to hear what you guys have to say all about this later. I'm going to be talking a lot, but I want to okay, I'm getting a thumbs up from Coco. Thank you, Coco. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Mac B left, so I'm going to assume that's not okay. But anyway, listen. I know I see comments about the Trump stuff. We're not going to talk about the Trump stuff. Trump seems to be fine. Other people are going to be covering the Trump stuff. That's not what we're talking about. Today we're going to talk about James Lindsay continuing to post about me on Twitter like an unhinged retard. Because it's Sunday. It's Sunday. It's literally like does James have mommy issues? I mean, it kind of seems like it. You know? So let's just take a look at what has happened. And again, if you're joining the Twitter space, I do want to hear from you guys, and maybe more people will join as we get a little further into it. But I'm just going to be talking for a while, and if you want to see what's on my screen, I am actually streaming on X right now. I'm also streaming on YouTube. I don't love James. James is a liar. James is a liar and a fraud, and I think I'm going to be able to prove that pretty emphatically. And if you trust James's judgment after today, I don't even know what to tell you, man. You get what you get. You get what you get. So we're going to start off with last night. I covered on my Socialism Saturday stream last night that James had been tweeting about me like an unhinged retard, like literally all day long. And I did a Twitter space about it, responding to him. And at the beginning of my Socialism Saturday episode, I kind of responded to James. Now, let's just keep in mind, if James hadn't tweeted about me all day yesterday like an unhinged retard, I literally wouldn't have had anything to respond to. Like, I'm not going to be talking about James unless he's either lying or if he's saying something about me that isn't true. Well, yeah, you're correct. The shoe of James being an unhinged retard does fit James perfectly. And Todd, I'm going to be quite honest with you. If you're going to be, shitposting in my chat, we're going to assume that you're as low IQ as most people in James's audience. Okay. All right, Todd. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, Todd. I have a limit of you have to have a minimum of a 100 level IQ to be in my audience, which is like average. You're obviously on the below average side of the spectrum. You're just not smart enough to be here, bro. Goodbye. He's banned. Like, we're not. No. So let's just see what happened last night. So these are from last night. James is retweeting Poetry Painter because James is relying on a woman. Poetry Painter is a psychopath that has literally been stalking me for 4 years. 4 years this woman has been stalking me. If you go to this woman's Twitter feed, half of the things she posts are about me. It really is an unhinged. It is incredibly unhinged. But this is James's source for information. James has connected with a woman that has literally been stalking me every day of my life for 4 years. So we can ascertain what that means in regards to James's level of discernment. And so he's retweeting her. Let's see. James is just scrolling up in James's feed. He's talking about a lot of stuff, but it's not all about me by any stretch of the imagination. But I want to show. Oh, here it is again. Now, Mizakan. You know, Mizakan created this great meme about James. And the reason this meme is so great is because this meme actually has a lot of really helpful information in it. This is all about Drag Queen Story Hour, is about teaching kids that gender is performative and fluid, that one can change their gender as easy as changing an outfit. When kids eventually learn about the gender spectrum and doubt their own identities, they'll maybe they'll remember how fun and glitzy it was to be gender nonconforming and perhaps switch to non-binary. Queer Marxism is about abolishing the gender binary and the nuclear family as a way of destabilizing normative values that define both heteronormativity and homonormativity, both of which uphold the nuclear family. Non-binary identities set the stage for alternative modes of kinship and chosen families, which are anti-capitalist in nature. The number one goal of queer Marxism is abolishing the social reproduction of capitalism within the nuclear family. We got Judith Butler there. We've got Emmy O'Brien there. Listen, I thought this meme was highly educational, but most importantly, I didn't actually create this. But apparently, me retweeting a meme that someone else created that has a lot of highly educational material in it is just a high crime against James Lindsay. I mean, I think we can all tell that this is a Photoshop thing. I think we can all tell that that's not really James wearing the lingerie. But that's not my fault. I didn't create the meme. People are allowed to create memes on the internet, James. They are allowed to. Moving up in James's feed, here's James. Oh, Carrie Smith weighs in. Carlin did the same to me. Not my Carlo. Deb Philman and others for years. This woman is a cluster bee disaster. Now here's the thing. James retweeted this. I have a whole website called Surviving Carrie Smith. It's survivingcarriesmith.substack.com. You can go on there, and when you go onto this website, you will be greeted with the massive smear campaign that Carrie was running on me for literally years. This is like you can go through it, but like I have a master list of every defamatory tweet Carrie Smith sent about me for literally years, and I didn't respond to her for almost a year when this was actually going on. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing now, but Carrie Smith was out defaming me, smearing me, trying to just like talk shit about me on Twitter for like literally years. I have over 1,000 screenshots on this website of tweets that Carrie has sent about me. Again, we're not going to go into the full details of it, but the reason I went so far as to actually write a Substack about this is it was so bad that I had to create something to show people every single time people would come into my feed, be like, Carlin, why are you harassing and bullying Carrie? I had to be like, I'm not doing shit. I'm responding to her. She's the one that's doing this to me. And so people can go on there and see the receipts. Like everyone that's in my community around this time knew what happened. I was always very open about it. Naruto says, we'll watch the playback, but I'm watching a good dystopian movie just released by Netflix called Uglies. Highly recommend. Thank you for the super chat, Naruto. So all that is there, but of course, Carrie is playing the victim on Twitter, and she has to say, Carlin was bullying me. No, I wasn't, Carrie. No, I wasn't. You have a dissociative disorder, Carrie. You were acting like an unhinged retard for years, literally years, and I documented the whole thing. And it worked like clockwork too, because it was so funny. Do you know what finally mostly shut Carrie up? Carrie still tweets about me every now and again, but do you know what mostly shut her up after tweeting about me almost every single day for 2.5 years? The fact that I documented it. And I created this thing where every single time Carrie tweeted about me, I just added a new post. And I was like, okay, the bitch is at it again. Here's what she's saying now. And this actually shut Carrie up. And this stemmed a lot of bullshit that I had to deal with on the internet. But Carrie does still like, every time someone doesn't like me, Carrie's like, you don't like Carlin? I don't like Carlin too. And she gets herself involved, even though it has nothing to do with her. Because this is the only relevance Carrie has. Anyway, James is retweeting Carrie and her delusional issues. I don't even know who this person is. Navy brat. No idea who this person is. I just cloned through her timeline. She's batshit crazy. Now, James's audience is saying that because for the last 2 or 3 days or something, I have been documenting James Lindsay's extensive meltdown on Twitter. So what's been going on is James's audience comes into my feed. They're like, all you ever tweet about is James, which is provably not true if you actually look at my Twitter feed. But James has been having a massive meltdown because he's getting called out for his bullshit where he's talking about the quote-unquote woke right, which basically means anyone that puts America ahead of Israel, according to James Lindsay, is on the woke right. And so he's getting a massive amount of shit for this, he's having a massive meltdown on Twitter. Yeah, I've been documenting it because it's funny. But anyone with any sort of intellectual honesty knows that most of the time I tweet far more about Nick Fuentes than I do about James Lindsay. I tweet far more about the radical revolutionary socialist left than I do about James Lindsay. That's just factual. People can go back and look. But no, James's audience is like, all she ever tweets about is you, James. And now we're getting into the good stuff. This came out at 10:30 last night. Again, Poetry Painter, for those interested. This is a decent but light overview without seeing a significant amount of the crazy video. It's difficult to understand how insane she really is. It's really easy to ignore, but massive targeted harassment. Carlin is also using Nick's network. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I teamed up with the groypers? Oh no. Oh no. James, it's kind of like when I told you in June that the groypers and I were teaming up against you. It's kind of like when I literally posted a meme in June saying that the groypers were teaming up with the comrades against James because his defeat is beneficial to all of us. Now, this was kind of a little bit of a joke, although the groypers that I talked to were more than okay with it. Like, they were more than okay with it. Like I literally said this. I don't know what's so confusing about this. And now James is like, Carlin and the groypers are working together. Yeah, James, I'm cool with the groypers, bro. I'm cool with the groypers. So it's called having friends. Now here's where we get into the good stuff. Okay, check this out. This is from this morning. He even edited it. Holy shit, we should look at the edit history. This is from this morning at 10:30 a.m. At 10:30 a.m., I was still asleep. At 10:30 a.m., I was laying gloriously in bed. I was still asleep. And James decided to watch my entire Socialism Saturday stream from last night. That's what he's linking to here. Let's just be sure. He is linking to my Socialism Saturday stream from last night. Okay? Now, how many people watching right now were watching Socialism Saturday with me last night? Did anyone here watch Socialism Saturday last night? By a show of hands in the chat. Did anyone here do that? Hey, Gwen G in the Twitter space. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. I would appreciate it. Yup, Bot watched it. Yasmin watched it. Misa can watch it. Trendlin watched it. Maximus watched it. Average person missed it, but that's okay. Average person, you can catch up later. Maria was just replaying it. Janet watched it. Okay, so for those of you who watched Socialism Saturday last night, Judy watched it, Mitchell watched it, John Morgan watched it. For those of you who watched Socialism Saturday last night, would it be accurate to say that it was a 3.5 hour hate stream against James? Because that's what James is saying. We're going to go back and look at that in a second. James Lindsay's position is that last night's episode of Socialism Saturday is that I streamed about him doing a hate stream for 3.5 hours. Press 1 in the chat if that is an accurate characterization of the stream. Press 2 in the chat if that is not an accurate characterization of the stream. Alex says, I wasn't there, but I know that's false. Bot says, no, most of it was about socialism. Judy says nope. Trendlin says nope. Yeah, John Morgan says, it's more like I did 30 minutes on James. Gwen, are you giving the thumbs down because my sound or something? Why are you... I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Gwen is... okay. I don't know what's going on over there. Can someone DM me from that Twitter space and let me know if this is like a giant waste of time, if my sound's all effed up or something? We might have to restart the Twitter space or something if it is. I don't know. If you guys are talking about socialism, I hope you guys are talking about socialism Saturday. It's hard to tell. Anyway, I'm getting a lot of 2s in the chat over on YouTube. I'm getting a lot of 2s in the chat. And there's a reason I'm getting a lot of 2s in the chat. Because I was responding to James's Twitter storm about me for about half an hour on this stream. And then we spent the entire rest of the stream watching socialism and talking about socialism and doing all of that. And you can prove this too, just by a quick skim through the stream. I'm not going to play the sound. I'm just going to show you guys. We talked about James for a little while. We talked about him for a little while. And then, hang on, I'm just going to close the chat replay on this so you can actually see it. We talked about James for a little while, and then we watched socialism. Like, if you're in the Twitter space right now, what we can see is that we were watching socialism. For the entire rest of the stream, we were watching socialism. Like, this is just factual. We were just watching socialism. Anyone can go and look at this. For the entire rest of the time, we were watching socialism. So this was a 3-hour stream about socialism with which we spent the first 30 minutes responding to James Lindsay's bullshit. Okay? So at 10:30 this morning, after James had apparently watched my entire stream, or at least part of it, James sends out this tweet with timestamps. This is about my stream last night. Obviously, given her circumstances, she responded with a 3.5-hour Darvo abuse stream. I'm sure no one will watch. James is literally saying I did a 3.5-hour Darvo abuse stream about him, which is just factually untrue on the face of it. And it's like, I really think this is going to be a good litmus test for James's audience. I really think this is going to be a good IQ test for James's audience. Because if James's audience isn't capable of a basic fact check, then I think that's very reflective of the person they've been learning from. Let's continue. He says, in which she says Nick Fuentes fell in love with her at minute 25. And I just want to prove that because James seems to think that that's some sort of lie. Hang on, let me play you a clip. I really should have done this last night, and I can only play this on YouTube. I can't play this in the Twitter space, but this is a clip from Nick Fuentes' show on October 14th, 2023. James wants to question the veracity of this. Okay.
Spence sent $4. What's up with this Carlin girl? She was reacting to you and looking disgusted not too long ago. Did she fall in love with you?
No, I fell in love with her. I mean, I just think she's so amazing. I don't know. She's just fun. She's funny. I'm just being friendly. I'm okay. I'm friendly. I'm a friendly guy. And she's fun. She's funny. You know, I like it. We kind of have like a funny back and forth. I like her attitude. She's like a no nonsense. She's got this attitude that I like. I'm a fan. I like her. So groypers are fans.
I didn't fall in love with Nick Fuentes, James. Nick Fuentes fell in love with me, and you can have all the fucking feelings you want about that, but it's just factual. Just factual. So yeah, that happened, James. I'm very sorry that you're having feelings about that. In which she says Nick Fuentes fell in love with her at minute 25. That she wants Trump to lose. James, I'm not a conservative and I haven't been a Trump supporter this entire election except for like a 2-week span where I kind of felt sorry for him after he got shot. I've been very clear about this. James is acting as though he has some sort of like hidden knowledge that I secretly want Trump to lose. I think that the only way that the conservative right ever improves and actually becomes opposition to the left is if they're forced to, and I don't think that Trump winning is actually going to help that. Now, I wouldn't actually be upset if Trump won. I'm not going to have a hissy fit about it. I just don't really care, to be honest about it. But it's not some secret hidden knowledge that I'm not voting for Donald Trump. Like, that, this is what I love. Carlin said, all my support is Jewish. Well, James, you're doing videos with PragerU. You went and did a podcast with a rabbi. The two women who have teamed up with you to try to smear me are the other two Jewish women who were on that podcast with the rabbi. Like, I can look in your comments and identify Jew, 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 Jew. Now, I'm not making any sort of value judgment. I personally don't care if people are Jewish or not. I am just pointing out, James, that a lot of your support happens to be Jewish. Carlin said that all of her followers should make accounts to do targeted harassment of me around minute 42. Well, James, that's because you keep blocking us. That's because you keep blocking us. We see it as our mission, James, to inform the masses of what the far left is doing. You are lying to your audience all the time about what's going on. We have receipts that your audience may like, and we want to show your audience those receipts, James. We want your audience to look at the primary source video. We want your audience to see how much you've been lying to them. And I'm sorry, James, if you're going to block us every time we try to post primary source video in your feed, we're going to make other accounts, and we're just going to keep doing it. And there's nothing really you can do about it, James, and you can cry about it all you want, but we are allowed to make sock accounts on Twitter. We are allowed to do that. Everyone does that, James. In fact, your girlfriend, Poetry Painter, has like 4 or 5 sock accounts that she uses to harass me all the time. That's where you're getting all your material against me. Don't fucking front. I know where all of it comes from. Yeah, I think it's interesting that James confirmed that he actually did watch the video to include timestamps. Now, what's interesting about it is all of the timestamps are in the beginning of the video. So James's claim that I did a 3.5-hour Darvo abuse stream, then why are all the timestamps in the beginning of the video? Because it wasn't about you, James. If you hadn't tweeted about me all fucking day yesterday, I wouldn't even have talked about you. I don't know what's so hard to understand about this, James. Welcome to everyone listening in the Twitter space. I'm going to be looking for what you guys have to say. I'm going to be talking to people after I finish my little rant here, so sit back. If you want to see what's on my screen, I'm running a live stream on Twitter right now. I'm also on YouTube, so you can check in there if you want to see what I'm showing my audience, but I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this as well. Continuing in this tweet, James says about the sock accounts, you know, she said that her followers should make accounts to do targeted harassment of me, which is a very frequent theme with her. James apparently thinks that posting videos of primary source, socialist, leftist training is targeted harassment against James. Isn't that funny? Doesn't James want people to know what the left is doing? Then why does he believe that posting videos of what the left is doing is targeted harassment of James? That doesn't make any sense, bro. Fuentes' groypers have been going harder on me since she started that campaign, proving he and his people take orders from this low-rent dominatrix, or whatever they get out of it. Again, James, again, like I was pretty clear about this. I was pretty clear about this back in June. Now, to be very clear, Nick Fuentes doesn't take orders from anyone. Nick Fuentes definitely doesn't take orders from me. I don't even talk to Nick Fuentes. I am friendly with the groypers. In being friendly with the groypers, we have discovered a mutual adversary in you. And if the groypers want to talk about how much they don't like you because you're being an asshole on the internet and you're smearing them all the time, and my audience wants to talk about how much we don't like you because you're being an asshole and you're lying to people about what the left is doing, and we have a common enemy, we're allowed to create an alliance, James. We're allowed to do that. The groypers don't like you for reasons that have nothing to do with me. The groypers disliked you far before they were friendly with me. And so if we have a common adversary in you because you lie to people and you smear people and you block my audience and you tell people to ignore me and you lie about me and you lie about Nick Fuentes and you lie about the groypers, that's your fault, James. That's not our fault. That's your fault. And James can complain about me being a dominatrix all he likes. But again, I didn't make this meme. Bot made this meme. I didn't make this meme. And so now James wants to control all memes that are being made on the internet. Well, tough cookies, James. You are a public person on the internet. People are going to make fun of you, especially when you are pissing people off. Let's see. Where were we? So that's that tweet. It's got all sorts. She's a Fed bro. Look at the people in the response, the replies. She's a Fed bro. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm a Fed. Yep. Look at this. All these people. Why, a side note. Why are all James's followers just like low rent Twitter trash with anonymous accounts that just post stupid things on the internet? Like, honestly, they're like some of the dumbest people on the internet. I'm a little ashamed of myself for not realizing it sooner. That's not all. James retweets this person, the THA, obviously a black person, THADBZ, and he says, I unfollowed her yesterday. I've never even heard of this person. This person has never interacted with me. This person has never interacted with my content. Noticed a while back she's fallen madly in love with Fuentes. Well, no, Nick Fuentes fell in love with me. We've already covered this. And I don't know much about him, but I know he's a douche. No, he's not. Nick Fuentes is actually one of the smartest commentators on the internet right now, and I feel very blessed that he's allowed me to hang around him and his friends. James retweeted this person, again trying to smear me. Ironically, given that she's a cluster B disaster. James, by the way, is not a psychologist. James, by the way, has no qualifications to evaluate the psychological health of literally anyone, let alone someone that that is his adversary, that has been driving him to the brink of insanity. Yeah, Alex on YouTube says, LOL, anyone who follows Carlin knows plenty about Nick. Yeah, because we actually listen to him. What a concept. James says, she hasn't actually fallen in love with Nick Fuentes. She is doing a borderline idealization of him. Eventually, he'll say something intolerable to her narcissism or deny her, and she'll start attacking him in the same way. No, I won't, James. First of all, James, did you know I'm actually married? Not to Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is still a virgin and much younger than me. It wouldn't be appropriate. Do you know I've actually been married for 13 years? Do you know, James, that one of the ways that you can tell if someone is a narcissist or not is they are not able to maintain relationships? So how do you explain the fact that I've been married for 13 years? And by the way, we just fucked this morning. And so I don't want to hear any of this. Carlin is keeping him in the basement or something like that, because he seemed pretty fucking delighted at what happened when we spent time together this morning. It's just like, it's like people are like, Victor only stays with Carlin because he has to stay in this country. No. That's not true, James. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Then James says, I think this will eventually be extremely funny, of course. The groypers are a lot more savage than she is. I don't know about that. And she'll figure out she's bitten off a lot more than she can chew. with this particular swerve. James, I have been playing nicely with the groypers for almost a year. This has been going on since right after October 7th, James. I have been playing nicely with them for a while. I went to their event in person. I've met them in person. I hang out with them in their Twitter spaces. I'm in their fucking group chats. I'm pretty sure, James, that I actually understand the groypers far more than you do. Since you obviously don't even listen to Nick, you obviously don't even know anything about the groypers. So you can, like there's so many Nick haters that are just waiting for this whole thing to dissolve with me and the groypers, and they keep saying that. They're like, Carlin, someday they're going to come after you too. Well, if I went after Nick, yeah, the groypers would come after me. Yeah, that's true. If I betrayed Nick, if I stabbed Nick in the back, the groypers would absolutely come after me. But guess what? As long as I don't do that, and as long as I support what Nick is doing, and I do, and I don't agree with Nick on everything, but I agree with him on enough of the important things. On the important things, Nick and I are completely aligned. On the other details, we can bicker about that bullshit later. That's just not important right now. But I'm never going to stab Nick Fuentes in the back. It's never going to happen. You want to know why? Because Nick Fuentes is one of the only real people on the fucking internet. And I have a soft spot for the underdog, and Nick Fuentes is definitely the underdog that came back and built his own platform in the face of adversity, and I have a real soft spot for that type of stuff. That kid has been through a lot, James, and part of the reason he's been through a lot is because people like you lie about him all the fucking time. So no, I don't foresee a breakdown in the relationship anytime in the foreseeable future. And you know what? Nick can disagree with me. Nick can have a problem with what I say. I don't think Nick was too thrilled about that tie picture that I posted because he got a little bit of shit from that from his friends. But that's all right. That's all right. Because I'm not going to go after him no matter what happens. Because he is too important, James. And if you actually listen to him, you might understand that. But you can't listen to him because then you would lose your benefactors. This disaffected guy is a former funeral director with no psychological credentials at all that claims to be an expert in narcissism because he was raised by a borderline personality disorder mother. He has diagnosed my psychological state without ever even speaking to me. He's been calling me a narcissist for years. He says, she is the best example I've personally seen of someone who is thoroughly cluster B in all four allegedly discrete flavors. James says, same. It's textbook. Do you guys notice how they never actually lay out evidence for the fact that I'm a cluster B narcissist? Where's the evidence? I do everything publicly on the internet. Where's the evidence? The evidence that they seem to have that I'm a cluster B narcissist is I tweet things they don't like, and I block people that I don't like, and I have a tone that they don't like, and they feel intimidated by me, and so therefore I'm a cluster B narcissist. I would like receipts. I would like evidence, please. Are they ever going to lay that out? No. Because all they want to do is call me insane on the internet. Well, guess what? Again, this is an IQ test. If you really believe that people have a severe personality disorder because you don't like their tone and they tweet things that you don't like, then you're not as smart as you think you are. Rationalist says, you can tell he has no background in psychology by the way he repeatedly throws the cluster B diagnosis at you like it's the only psychology thing he knows about. Yeah, for real. For real. For real. Anyway, moving on. Here's another one. James retweets this person. Look at what this person has in their bio. Does that look like an Israeli flag? James is retweeting an obviously Jewish person. Her theory that Jews collectively want to die in the Holocaust was beyond sick. I believe that everyone chooses their death regardless of whether or not they're Jewish. Literally everyone. I believe that's a spiritual decision that we make. We come into this life to have certain experiences. Some of those experiences are good. Some of those experiences are bad. I literally believe that of everyone. That has nothing to do with being Jewish. If you don't agree with me, then fine. I don't really care. James says, she's just trying to say whatever extreme things will garner attention and approval from groypers whom she's trying to pull into her web from under Nick's control. Bro, that's the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life. There is nothing that I can say and do that are going to get the groypers to come over to me outside of Nick's control. The groypers, like, this is not a clout play with Nick. I know the groypers are Nick's. The groypers will always be loyal to Nick. Nick is their guy. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I want to do about that. I don't want to disrupt anything. The groypers are never going to support me over Nick because Nick is their guy. I'm not. I'm just someone they let hang around and laugh with them and make jokes with them and stuff like that. But again, this is ridiculous. Anyway. What else do we have? That actually might be it. I just wanted to give people a quick update on James, and we are going to be doing a Twitter space in a minute if people have opinions on this. I do want to know, and this is one of the last things I'll put on here, and I'm going to try to broadcast the Twitter space on the YouTube stream as well because I want to be able to interact with the chat and everything. We're going to see how this goes. But last night I created a very helpful chart for James. And for those who can't see it, it's a graph. And it says on one axis, the amount James Lindsay is obviously triggered by Carlin. And it says on the other axis, the amount of James Lindsay's content Carlin will stream and debunk. Now, James is a mathematician, and I wanted to demonstrate to him that if James continues to talk about me and whine about me and complain about me and all this stuff, I'm just going to talk about him more. And I'm just going to stream more of his content. I'm just going to debunk more of his content. I'm just going to keep making him mad. And I'm going to keep pushing on that button that we've clearly found, James, because we've clearly found the trigger point. We know what this is. And we're just going to keep poke on that trigger point until you eventually break. So that is the James Lindsay update. Let me see if he's tweeted anything more since I started this stream. I guess we can go back and look at some of the replies as well. Oh, look at this. Look at this. James reposting someone else from 30 minutes ago. This is when, oh, check this out. We should watch this real quick. This is when John Morgan wrote a fan fiction about me. Oh, I'm not talking about the fan fiction apparently. So James just retweeted someone who says, Carlin claims that everyone in the anti-woke political sphere hates her because they're all shills and she's the only one willing to tell the truth. Well, let's take a look at the list. Everyone at the Daily Wire is a political shill that works for a company that's beholden to Israel. So that includes Matt Walsh. That includes Michael Knowles. So we can't count on them. Glenn Beck just did a whole show the other day where he was talking about writing a letter to Israel asking for citizenship. So therefore, everyone at the Blaze is beholden to someone that is beholden to Israel. So we can't trust that. Billboard Chris has been a shill for years. That guy is a paid shill that doesn't even live in the United States. He's from Canada. I don't know what the fuck he's doing in the United States because he's from Canada. We look at Konstantin Kisin of Trigonometry. Again, not an American. Konstantin Kisin doesn't live in America, yet he seems to make money commentating on American politics. What the fuck is it with all these so-called anti-woke people who are not American, who don't live in America, making money off of commentating on American politics? Who else is so-called anti-woke? Deb Philman is a psychopath that tried to steal my work. Lisa Logan is also a psychopath. That Lisa Logan believes that Oprah is in an NWO conspiracy theory to indoctrinate people into gender ideology. Like, that's psychotic. Can you name someone in the so-called anti-woke space that isn't beholden to some organization? I mean, I could look. Now, what I will say is someone like Andy No. Andy No's fucking awesome. I have no issue with Andy No. No issue with Andy No at all. Andy No is fucking awesome. Andy No has done the Lord's work. Andy No has paid a high price for what he's doing. I have no issue with Andy No at all. Stu Studio. Stu Studio, even though he's a Zionist and he and I disagree on that, is fucking awesome. Stu Studio is finding so much good stuff right now in regards to like far left training. He's going into like and secretly recording a whole bunch of stuff. Everyone should follow Stu Studio. You've got people like Trevor Loudon. Trevor Loudon's been covering this stuff for years. He's got the Key Wiki, a whole bunch of shit documented. He does a great job. You got people like Mel K. Mel K understands this stuff because she watches Socialism Saturday better than a lot of other people. So it's not true that I think that everyone in the anti-woke space hates me because, first of all, that's just provably not true. Secondly, I'm not the only one telling the truth. I am the only one who is streaming far-left radical socialist content on a regular basis, up to 6 days a week, and teaching people about it. But that's just factually untrue. Again, this is the problem. Do you guys wonder why I make it a point to have receipts for every single thing that I say? Because James's audience has such a loose relationship with the truth. This is all just internet hysteria and outrage because James is pissed off that my content is more effective at teaching people about the left than his is. And I'm very sorry, James. I'm very sorry I'm a better teacher than you, but that's just reality. Classic narcissism. To the narcissist, everything negative that happens to them is the result of the external world not conforming to their perceptions of reality. Again, I have alliances that are not woke. I still go on people's shows when I feel like it. I was just on Dave Janda's show earlier today. You got what they want is to fucking what James Lindsay and his followers want is to struggle session me to adhere to their fucking political narrative, which I refuse to do. Absolutely not. Nope, not gonna do it. And then they're like, you're a narcissist if you don't say the things we want you to say. Well, suck every dick. You're just gonna have to get used to that. When something bad happens to them, they hold no blame. It's everyone else's fault. When something good happens, they take credit for it. What the fuck are these people even talking about? This is classic woke. The only real reason communism hasn't been achieved is because of external factors unknown to us that we cannot account for. Enjoy watching Carlin claim James baselessly labeled her as borderline. He did baselessly label me as borderline. And then immediately exhibit all the classical symptoms of borderline personality disorder. Again, guys, these people, James and his audience, believe that if I defend myself from the character attacks that James Lindsay is consistently making on me and has been making on me for months, that is proof that I'm a narcissist and have borderline personality disorder. That's what we're talking about here. This is the level of intellectual integrity that James Lindsay and his audience has. James can say whatever the fuck he wants. James never has to provide evidence for what he says. James's audience never has to provide evidence for what they say. But if I respond to them and say, you guys are full of shit for reasons X, Y, B, and Z, then my response, defending myself, is proof that I am the thing that they say I am. That's actually the very definition of woke. Everyone understands that, right? Let's see. Are there any more tweets about me? Let's see. And guys, I'm going to be coming over to the Twitter space soon. If you guys have ideas about any of this. Oh, Libby Emmons. Oh my God. What an uptight cunt. She's another person I don't like. Again, Andy No is great. Libby Emmons is not great. Where is this? Where is this? Hang on. Where is James doing this event? A lunch and learn? Hey, is anyone in Connecticut? I'm not. Oh, no, not Connecticut. Sorry, that's Central Time. Is anyone in Tennessee? Does anyone want to go to this event that James is speaking at in Tennessee and ask James inconvenient questions? I don't give a fuck what that psychotic lunatic has to say. Is anyone here in Tennessee? we're gonna do some work over the next week to find someone in Tennessee, or possibly several people in Tennessee, that want to go to this event and maybe ask James some inconvenient questions on video. Does anyone want to do that? Would that be fun? James, if you want to fuck around, you can find out, my friend. You want to fuck around, you can find out. Anyway, that seems to be all he's tweeting about me for right now. Let's just do one quick refresh. And let's see, and then I'm going to try to bring myself into this Twitter space and bring the Twitter space into the stream. Oh, retweeting Ashley St. Clair, Jew. But that's it. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can. Yeah, someone should ask James why whiteness means capitalism. Let me see if I can get this Twitter space up and running on my account where I can actually stream the sound. And if you guys want to go over there and talk to me, you can. If you don't want to go talk to me, that's fine too, I guess. But I do want to hear what you guys have to say. I just need to make sure it's up and running on this account. Let me see. Reconnect. All right, I'm connected to the Twitter space on this account. And there aren't many people in it. That's all right. That's all right. If anyone wants to come up and request a mic and let me know your thoughts about this, that would be great. I'll hang out here for a minute or so. I'm also looking at the chat on YouTube, and we can see if anyone has any opinions on this. Listen, I want opinions about James Lindsay. And listen, another thing I'm interested in, and if anyone wants to come from the YouTube channel over to the Twitter space, that would be cool. I'm interested in a couple of things. I'm interested in how you guys think I should handle this. I'm interested in if you think I should I turn up the heat? Should I temper down the heat? Like, what should I actually do? That is kind of the question. Because, listen, part of me is kind of like, why am I not seeing this Twitter space on my timeline? That's weird. Part of me, well, Yasmin, come over and talk to me. Part of me is kind of like, how do I handle this? Because do I ignore James's outbursts? Let's post about the Twitter space. Hang on. Come talk to me about how I should handle James Lindsay's psychotic meltdown. All right, so we got that on there now. So here are the things. Oh, shit. I was muted. Sorry to people who couldn't hear me in the Twitter space. I accidentally muted myself. Sorry. I'm back. Okay, so here's what I think. Here is what I'm looking for feedback on. And this is the thing. And I really, okay, you guys can hear the sound now. Sorry, when I reconnected in the Twitter space in a different browser, it muted me. So now it's good. Okay, cool. In my ideal world, I actually have a lot of stuff I want to do that has nothing to do with James Lindsay. Like I said, I was going to get up today and I had projects I wanted to work on. I had a list of things I wanted to accomplish. And I'm going to go back after this Twitter space and work on those things. But like, I don't actually want to spend all my time fighting with James. That's not actually what I want. However, I do also see that there might be a benefit to fighting with James for a couple of reasons. Number one, James is lying to his audience. We all know this. We've seen this happen for a really long time. And I want James's audience to know that there are alternatives to James, that people can find better information out there. And this kind of seems like one of the only ways I have to do it, because I'm never gonna work with a place like Turning Point USA. That's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna work with a place like Moms for Liberty. That's never going to happen. I'm never gonna take big money from these political organizations. I'm not gonna go on a world speaking tour like James is. I don't want to. I don't even like leaving my house. I can do everything I want to do here. But I do feel a certain obligation to get more information out to more people, and this seems like a good way to do it. Also, James is publicly smearing me and making character attacks against me, and I kind of like, part of me is like, can I sue James for defamation yet? Because he keeps accusing me of having personality disorders that I don't actually have. Now, defamation lawsuits are really fucking expensive. That's not actually something I want to engage in, but I kind of wonder if I can. Like, and minimally, I feel like I need to be able to respond to defend myself. So what do you think? I do have one request for the mic. If you have opinions about that, we're going to bring up Yasmin. If you have opinions about how I should handle this, please come up and let me know. And yeah, I mean, Rationalist over on YouTube is saying he accused you of borderline sexual assault. Yeah, that seems to be a little bit unhinged. Yasmin, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think you should continue it. Me personally, I noticed he likes to slander you a lot. He says also that we watched him for 3 hours. We have not. But because he slanders you a lot, he diagnoses you a lot. You should just clip him out of context every chance you get and make him have to over explain it, because it seems like either he's triggered, he prides himself on being an intellectual, or he's triggered by his audience thinking he's a psyop for the Jews.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I think that, James is literally posting information that is coming from a woman who stalks me, that clips me out of context, like, all the time. And so, like,
Yes, Poetry Painter, his secret mistress.
yeah, well, exactly. Like, Poetry Painter is a psychotic woman who clips me out of context literally every day of my life. And so I don't think I don't think that James has any moral high ground here in terms of, like, oh, clutch my pearls, she clipped me out of context. Like, I clip James out of context a lot less than he has been posting information about me out of context. So he has no moral high ground. He's not being intellectually honest. He flat out lied and said I did a 3.5 hour stream about him last night, which I absolutely did not do. Anyone can look at the stream and know it wasn't about him.
Exactly.
So,
But the thing about James is he's going to continue in lie and say that we stalk him and we watch him, so we might as well do it anyway. And the good thing about it is, one thing I noticed is people get their information from Twitter. I mean, a lot of people watch YouTube, but it seems like they get their information from Twitter. And if you clip James on Twitter, it's going to go viral, and he's going to have to over-explain it every time. And when he starts to retweet you, his audience are going to come to your channel. They're going to watch you, and there may be some people that disagree, but you're going to find a lot of gems in that. A lot of people that are going to stick around.
yeah, that's kind of what I think too. Is I do think that James has some smart people who listen to him. I think the people who James interacts with on Twitter are mostly unhinged retards, but I think the smart people who listen to James are the people who are not going to be as inclined to speak up, and they might be out there looking for better information than they're getting from James. And God knows my information is better than his. It's more relevant than his. It's more time sensitive than his. Like, all these things. And so, I mean, I do think there's something to that as well. And it's just like, if James is going to be out there accusing me of this anyway, like, I might as well do what I'm being accused of. Like, I feel like I learned my lesson when Carrie started in all this bullshit, and for like a full year I didn't respond to Carrie. And because everyone was like, take the moral high ground, Carl, and just ignore her, it'll go away. And like, in that year that I didn't respond to Carrie, she destroyed my reputation. She turned so many people against me. And it was like, I always thought that if I wasn't hearing from people, it was because they didn't believe her bullshit. No, it was because they did believe her bullshit. And then that created a world of hurt for me because I didn't respond in the first place. And so now it's like the same thing. So it's kind of like, I don't feel like I have any obligation to keep quiet when, quite frankly, James is the one with the giant platform that he's using to smear and discredit me, so he can suck a dick. Like, I don't care. All right, I don't see any other hands up in the Twitter space. I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to say about this. I do want to invite people to come up if they have ideas about it. If not, we can just kind of conclude, and I can go about my day, and I can go do things that are far more important than this. And again, it's kind of like, I'll continue to say this, like, for people who don't know, for people who are like, why are you infighting Carlin? Why are you doing this? I literally tried to work with him for years. I literally tried to be nice to him for years, and he never reciprocated, and he never wanted to be productive about it, and it was just always a battle. And so, like, once James started coming unhinged and started lying about me, then I'm taking the gloves off. And I don't consider this to be my fault in any way. To be very honest, I think this is James's fault. And that's just the way it's going to be. And I'm going to respond according to how James responds to me. Laquitius over on YouTube says, James exploits people's ignorance in areas where most just don't have the background to challenge him and dive into the claims, especially on Gnosticism and metaphysics. It's an abuse of trust. Yeah, that's the thing that's, I think, most offensive to me about what James is doing, is he's like, James's audience is filled with people who want answers. And who wants the truth and just wants an explanation for what's going on in the world. And James continues to abuse the trust that they put in him by lying to them, by not showing them the full extent of the evidence, by smearing people who try to tell them the truth and try to show them the receipts and try to show them primary source information. It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy. Everyday Therapist over on YouTube says, maybe James is the narcissist. He finds you too threatening to his ego. I mean, I'm not going to diagnose him with narcissism. I don't know that I believe he is. I believe that James has, I believe that he has become unhinged because of the internet, if I'm honest about it. Like, I think he's just perpetually online. I think he has surrounded himself with generally psychotic people, and those psychotic people have made him psychotic. There was a time when James wasn't like this. I don't know like how many of you were around like 4 years ago. There was literally a time when James was not like what he's like now. James has been turned insane by the internet because he's perpetually on Twitter. He tweet, like, you can look at his page. James tweets significantly more than I do. And I tweet a lot. But James tweets more than I do. Rationalist on YouTube says, notice how he never attacks the substance of your arguments, but rather resorts to discrediting you by pathologizing you. Deep down, he knows you're right, and that's what gets him upset. Yeah, James has literally never once dealt with the intellectual critiques that I've made of his work. And I have made many intellectual critiques of James's work. And James doesn't like that because I have primary source evidence to back up every single thing that I say. And all James has is pinky swear, trust me, bro. Let's see. Mass Genocide says, James seems to have found some buttered bread in Moms for Liberty and now he's doubling down. Yep, I agree with that. Mass Genocide also says, the squeaky wheel eventually gets the grease. I feel you will be vindicated eventually. He will show his true colors. I think he's showing his true colors right now, is the thing. I think he's showing his true colors right now. Anyway, guys, that seems to be all we have. Rather light stream for a Sunday. I have other stuff I need to do, but I did just want to address this. And yeah, if James keeps tweeting about me, if James keeps posting about me, I'll just keep responding. And there's not shit he can do about it. And Chad says he's just bent because you outwork him. I produce more content, more anti-communist content in a single week than James does in a month. And I do it by myself. I don't have any help from any organization or any staff or anything like that. And James doesn't like that because my content's better than his. It's higher quality than his. It's more relevant to what's going on in the world right now. Reagan says, the more you call James out, the more smart ones in his audience will wake up to your good and accurate teaching. I appreciate that. So guys, the war on James is going to continue. And again, this is not just going to be me. Everyone who is sick of James's shit, I need you to make sure you have at least one Twitter account that is not blocked by James. If James has recently blocked your Twitter account, make sure you start a new one. Just go to like Proton Mail, get a burner email address, create a new Twitter account out of it. I know it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's worth it. Make sure you have a YouTube account that is not blocked on the New Discourses YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed to the New Discourses YouTube channel, because one of the things that if you don't subscribe now, James can put a time limit on how long you have to be subscribed in order to interact and chat on his YouTube channel. So everyone, make sure you have your burner accounts ready. And don't use them willy-nilly. Don't just use them to poke at James because James is now on a blocking spree. So we all have to coordinate this. All have your burner accounts ready on Twitter, on YouTube. Those are the main places we need them. And we're going to be waiting for our opportunity. And this war is not over, and it's not just me. James has pissed a lot of people off. And, yep, we see you, James. We see you. And you can whine, and you can cry, and you can complain, and you can lie about me, and you can throw a massive temper tantrum, and you can wrongly diagnose me with a personality disorder I don't have. But we all know why you're doing this, James. You're doing this because I've gotten under your skin. You know my content's better than yours. You know it because you've been stealing my shit at least for months, if not longer than that. And not only am I going to continue to produce better content than you on the internet about what the left is doing, we're going to come at you and make sure everyone knows what a lying fucking grifter you are. And that's just the way it's going to be, James. So guys, that's all I have for today. And I'm going to go write a newsletter now, and I will see you guys for movie night in about 3 hours. We're watching The Manchurian Candidate tonight in the supporter Discord. And that's all she wrote for right now, guys. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you soon. Bye.